Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is TweaK here, back again with another little guide video for you guys. So as you all know, the new patch came out. TAGILLA is now out. I'm going to show you guys where he spawns on factory. I'm going to show you some of my favorite methods for killing him. I'm going to show people who don't have the flea market yet an easy method of killing him. And I'm also going to show you guys some of the methods that I've been finding most successful. Most of all, this is a fairly budget guide, which I think is pretty good. I think the fact that it's going to be accessible to most people is going to be a good thing. So here we are. We're in the new area of the factory. What we're going to do is we're just going to run over to the old part of the factory, so anybody who hasn't played the new factory map yet can have an idea of where we are. They can orientate themselves. So that, of course, over there is the main factory extract, and this is where we're going to start our little journey. So gear wise, I'm just running a PPSH right now, and I just have a rat rig on, which is the 6B3TM. It is a class 4 armor that protects your chest and your stomach. So that is all you're pretty much going to need for this. You do have to be a little bit careful with TAGILLA. I can explain that later on when we are killing him, but first of all, we're going to get into his spawns. So one of the new areas in here, bottom of third story, he can spawn here. I haven't seen it myself yet, but this is where he is shown in the trailer, and many people have reported that he spawns in this area and he'll run out and rush players there, but so far for me, I'll show you guys his most common spawn, at least from what I found in the... I've killed him quite a few times, and he's pretty consistently around the same place, so he seemed to be like novelty spawns, if that makes any sense. He can also spawn in here in tiles, so be careful of that if you're running straight into tiles to check for the shoreline quest key, or you're coming in here to hide away from other players, because he can be in here. Now, this one I'm not 100% sure of, but I have had a handful of people from my chat say they've come up here, opened the door to go loot the safe, and TAGILLA's been in here. I can't confirm this. I haven't seen it yet myself, but apparently it's a thing, which I really hope it is, because that is absolutely hilarious. Okay. Now, what I'm going to say here is a little bit strange, but TAGILLA can spawn in the rafters, and he can come up to the rafters. The very first time I ever killed him, he was sitting here waiting to ambush me when I came through that door. So he can be up here in the rafters. And apparently, the same is true for these rafters over here and the rafters over there, even though I didn't know he could even spawn there, but apparently that's a thing from what I've been told. But I can 100% tell you guys, I've seen him here before, ready to ambush you. So when you're coming through, watch here. Now, another spot that I've seen him in very commonly, right there. I don't know what it is about this spot, but he can just be sitting here. Actually, sorry, a little bit further back, like about there. So he can just be chilling there, waiting for you. So make sure you keep an eye out when you walk past this spot. I've seen him here probably, I want to say 3 or 4 times. So that's one of his more common spots. Another place he can be, sitting right there. Another place he can be. This guy's a wily dog. He will sit here as well, just kind of hiding away. If you get close enough to him, he'll just absolutely demolish you, or he'll pull out his hammer. Another place he can spawn in here in these medical tents too. Now we're gonna head down into the underground. So again, I've been told he spawns down here. I don't think he does. I haven't seen it once yet, and I've only had one person tell me that, so I'd be less inclined to believe it. So maybe he can spawn here. It's a little bit or too early to tell yet, but some other guaranteed places I've seen him spawn: here on this ramp, sitting right here, sitting right here. I've also seen him down there. I've seen him here, and I've seen him here. So this whole general area is the most common place I have seen him spawn. More often than not, this is where I run into him, because most of the time when you go to the office side of the map, he will run at you, because it seems like once you get into his radius, sometimes he'll just go and go. Sometimes he'll just sit there and do nothing. I don't know if it's like a bug, but that is just what I've seen from his behavior. So those are all the spawns that I know of for TAGILLA. If any of you guys have seen him spawn anywhere else, please let me know in the comments below. I'd appreciate it. Any more information about this would be great. But yeah, I've done a lot of factory this wipe. I've killed him quite a few times. I think I know my way around him, and we're going to get into some guns that will quite easily take him down for you. So let's get into the weapon loadouts. All right, so here we are. This is the first gun I'm going to talk about, and it's not just specifically this gun. There is plenty of choices out there for you, but I have chosen the M1A because the M1A has been one of my favorite budget guns for making come-ups when I'm completely broke, for killing scab bosses, for doing labs, for doing all of the end game content. This bare bones M1A, you just put whatever optic you want on the front of it and go. This time, because TAGILLA has a class 5 visor, I have opted to put M61s into it. However, you can also put M80s into it. It just won't kill him as fast, but you want to hit his face, and it's also a rapid firing gun, so you can go bang, 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 and it'll absolutely melt him. Just try not to hit his chest, try not to destroy his armor, because his armor doesn't really repair very well. And yeah, his helmet repairs perfectly, by the way. You can repair his helmet like 100 times before you need to replace it. So the M1A, however, you can also run the RFB. You can also run like a shitty like SA58 build, just even a bare bones SA58. Anything that will hold M61s, M80s, M62s, M993, whatever you can get your hands on. If you've been stash running, if you've been scav running, you've probably found some of this ammo and it's just sitting around in your stash. You can very easily use it to kill TAGILLA. So basically any gun that will take M80s rather than, you know, obviously not like a bolt action rifle or something like that. You want something that can rapid fire. So the M1A, the RFB, obviously the 308 MDR, of course, but a lot of people aren't going to be using that right now, are my prime choices. I don't really like the RFB, but a lot of people seem to like it. But if I had to make a choice, I'd go with the M1A. Also, I didn't show it in this video, but the SVD, 10 round mags, S&B, 7N1, they will all work absolutely perfectly. 20 round mags, with the bad ammo, you can spam that at him and it will eventually kill him, but my god will it be close. So I would recommend using something a little bit better than LPS GZH or whatever it's called. I think it's called PS now. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into a raid now, and I'll show you guys how the M1A with M61 works against TAGILLA. So this is a pretty unorthodox spot for him to be in, but I guess he was over here now, so I guess he's got to spawn in this room somewhere, so. But there you have it. Shoot him in the face, puts him down pretty quickly. I did hit him in the chest a couple of times there, but if he runs at you, one thing you can do with the M1A, I've seen this happen before. This happened to me before too. He came in from the bathroom, breached the door, came running down the stairs at me, but if you just stand here and you just go, like you just spam it at him, it'll kill him instantly. It sucks his chest armor will get zeroed, because sometimes when you're fighting him, you don't really have the time to be, you know, oh yeah, I want to hit his head, so you know, you're trying to like pop headshots at him. But yeah, M61 rounds, M80 rounds, M62 rounds will all work perfectly in killing him. And when you do see him, don't worry about being precise. Sometimes, you know, like sometimes you just gotta mag dump and just kill him. You know, whether you're trying to conserve ammo, whether you're trying to conserve his armor, you just want him dead before you're dead, okay? That's the most important thing, because dying's going to cost you more than, you know, conserving a couple of bullets. So there you have it. That's TAGILLA dead with the M1A. Let's move on to the next gun. Also, just want to mention again, you can also use the RFB or the SA58. You know, easy, not very expensive, dead simple. So let's move on to the next gun. All right. Next gun we're going to be giving a shout out to the PPSH with a cheeky little drum mag on it, and we're going to put LRNPC rounds into it. The PPSH is a very, very, very underrated budget gun. This thing is not only very good at killing other PMCs, especially ones that don't have visors, but it also has a pretty decent amount of flesh damage, an incredibly high fire rate, and a 71 round capacity drum mag. So this gun, much like in my killer guide, can also be used to leg meta TAGILLA. Also, one thing that needs to be mentioned about TAGILLA, he wears armor that covers his chest, not his stomach. So you can spray his, well, for lack of a better term, his cock area, you know, and still do an absolute ton of damage to him. So I'm going to get into a factory raid. I'm going to show you guys how this gun works against him in raid. Now, just as we're loading in here, as I'm running around looking for TAGILLA, something that's worth mentioning about his AI, it's really random. I don't know how exactly it works, but I've noticed that he tends to not run after you in certain situations. Sometimes he'll be very patient and he'll sit in a certain spot and wait and ambush you. So he's not like many other scab bosses where you can shoot him and then bait him around a corner. Sometimes he won't fall for that. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is because the faster you can kill him, the absolute better. Because he's a beam with the shotguns. And there he goes. He's a beam with the shotguns. He's a beam with his RPK. Much like other scab bosses, he is very scary to fight. Okay, that is pretty much the ideal thing that you can have happen. So when he pulls out his hammer, he's obviously going to chase after you. Also, my god, the amount that did... Yeah, he'd have killed me with one more hit to the chest there. But when he pulls out his hammer, he will run at you like that, okay? But if he decides he's going to keep his gun out, he probably... Okay, it's not that funny, man. He would probably have like come back and sat somewhere else and like repositioned. But as you guys can see, the drum mag, we got less than half in there now, but we had plenty of rounds left to spray. We had that many left to spray. So if at all possible, while you're using the PPSH, because the time to kill is a little bit longer than something using rip rounds, I would suggest trying to make him pull out his hammer. As soon as you see him pull his hammer out, that's when you just spray his legs. Maybe you tank the hit to the chest, because you will live it and you'll kill him before you die every time. Absolutely. So that's the PPSH. Every time you run an attempt with this gun, the PPSH costs like 20k. Drum mag doesn't cost much more on top of that. You'll probably get a bunch of drum mags from your scav runs too, or just even picking them up off scavs. So there you go. One of the cheapest, best budget guns for killing TAGILLA. Easy peasy. Now, next up, this is a gun to, well, to anybody who watches my stream, it is absolutely no surprise to see this. The 45 Vector is one of, in my opinion, one of the best guns in Tarkov. Using the AP rounds, it's insane. Using the rip rounds, it is absolutely insane. Now, this is a later game gun, but if you guys happen to find one and you happen to have some 30-round mags laying around for it, all you got to do, go to the flea market, buy some rip ammo for it. It's pretty cheap. Considering you'd only want to bring like maybe 2 mags with you, and then you could just bring something else instead. Or if you have high enough level mechanic, you can buy it there for 391 rubles. Now, there is a cheaper option and an easier to acquire option, which is the 9mm Vector. Now, the 9mm Vector is even cheaper still, because you get rip rounds as a quest reward. Well, right now, what time is it? It's 2:30 a.m. Normally, and I've seen this all day today too, the price for this ranges between 350 and 400 rubles a bullet. So the price of this will be lower than this. It's just late at night, so less people are playing and stuff. But the nice thing about the 9mm Vector is that you can use the 33 round mags. I would not recommend going any lower than that. Any lower than that, you're kind of, I feel like you're asking for running out of ammo while you're in his face. But the 9mm Vector, however way you want to load it out, you don't need to put a suppressor on it. You don't even need to put a foregrip on it. You can just run the gun with the 33 rounder, stick a little optic on it, and go and leg him, and it'll be easy peasy. Same thing with the 45 Vector, except, you know, you have to have the 30 rounders on it. If you don't have the 30 rounders in it, you're not going to have enough bullets in it in your gun to kill him. But I'm going to get into the raid now, and I'm going to show you guys just how quickly he falls over when you're using the 45 rip rounds. It's really good. This is the way I've killed him probably most of all, I would say. So I'll see you guys in there. Uh-oh. Okay, so he's running at me. He would appear to be hiding up there, so we can go get close and see how this works out. Oh my god. So yeah, that quite literally almost killed us, but even with the substantial amount of shots we missed. Can you scavs? I'm trying to make a YouTube video. Can you get out of here? But you guys can see, even with the substantial amount of shots we missed there, he absolutely just fell over dead very, very fast. What ammo does he have in here? He's got Eaglenik in there too. I reckon it's the same as Killa, Eaglenik and BT and stuff like that. But yeah, this gun, the 9mm Vector, does more or less the same thing. I just like the 45 Vector. I think it's more fun. Hello? Get out of here. But yeah, 45 Vector absolutely puts him on his ass. So yeah, that's it. This is probably the best gun I'd recommend for the job. This or an M1A with M61, M80, M62s. And up to that point, it's absolutely take your pick. So some other guns that you could try, because the PPSH works out, you get the highest flesh damage rounds you can. For the Kedr or the Clin with 30 rounders, you can pull that off. Not only do the Kedr and the Clin work, but you can also do it with the MP5. However, if you're going to do it with the MP5, I would recommend doing it with 50 rounders. The 50 rounders are super cheap on the flea market, and you should probably run rip rounds while you're doing it. Other guns, as far as punching his chest armor and punching his helmet, I have killed him. The first time I killed him was with BP rounds in an RPK, and I just shot him center mass. I didn't even have to shoot him all that much, and he went down pretty quickly. But you got to remember as well, his chest is protected, his stomach isn't. From like here down is all flesh damage. And then obviously in the same vein, the MPX will also do the trick as long as you're putting rip rounds in it. I don't really think I'd ever recommend running at him with like 7 and 12 or AP 6.3s in any of those 9mm guns. I think it's probably just a waste of money and time, and I think there's other weapons and other calibers and stuff that work out a whole lot better. So that's gonna do it for me. That's my quick little easy TAGILLA guide. Some people were asking me, do I recommend you using shotguns with rip rounds, you know, since they do such high flesh damage? Now, what I will say, not anything that is a pump action, and probably not a 153 or a 155, even with 8 rounders. You can do it, but you need to bait him, and you have to be pretty close to him to hit all the damage fast. It's all about time to kill, and those guns shoot fairly slowly compared to, you know, Vectors and PPSHs and M1As and stuff. However, a Saiga with a drum mag filled with rip rounds will put him on his ass very, very quickly. So with all that being said, I wouldn't necessarily recommend shotguns. You can give it a try. It works, but you need to be very careful when you run into him. And sometimes you don't have the time to be careful. Also, with the long ass barrels on a lot of those shotguns, if he runs at you with the sledgehammer, your gun is going to be doing this. So if you do decide to try and kill him with a shotgun, try and maintain your distance. If you can't maintain your distance, kiss your shit goodbye. So guys, that's been my little TAGILLA guide. So let me know down below what guns you guys have been using to kill him. Let me know where you've seen him spawning. Let me know what the best loot you've gotten off him is. And yeah, make sure you leave a comment down below. Leave a like on the video. I would appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future. I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out, my dudes.